Are you lazy but want to make more money? Well, I've closed $151,000 in online sales now, like info products, online coaching, online services for myself and other business partners over the last couple of years. And what I want to teach you is how you can use your laziness to your advantage, how I actually use that to my advantage, even though I always felt like I was really lazy. And this is going to be through teaching you what I've learned over nearly 3 years of online business, all starting with a story. So I used to think I was really lazy. I'm talking about when I first got into entrepreneurship, after the first few months wore off, even after especially 6 to 12 months, this was early going into 2024, in the spring of 2024. What happened was is I just felt like I was lazy, and every time that happened, that made me either feel guilty or whatever, right? Then when I hopped on sales calls, even now, like as I'm recording this, I have a sales call for a potential either coaching client or partnership after this video. And to a certain degree, there is this little bit of emotional resistance. But the reframe I kind of like to give myself is that being lazy doesn't actually exist. Now, hear me out here. What I mean by this is you're not actually lazy. You want to just reframe that as being unaligned. And what I mean by this is you are unaligned with the desires that are going to be satisfied by the work that you feel like you're supposed to do, whether it's following up with clients or it's making sure you review your sales calls or something to that nature. Well, if there's this little bit of resistance or wanting to do something else, either number one, you're not performing to the degree which you could be because of the fact that you haven't had the necessary performance system set in place mentally and physically, like sleep, reflection, gratitude, mindfulness. But if you are in a pretty good position and you aren't too tired and you're working out and sleeping really well, at least semi consistently, then what it comes down to is that it's not a problem with your performance, but it's a problem with your mentality. Instead of associating the things that in your business that you think you should do or should want to do, you associate that with resistance because you think that you have to do that and then achieve a certain goal, and then you're going to be able to feel happy. But what I like to do is reverse the steps to making more money. What I mean by this is imagine you have an objective, right? Imagine you have a goal, and this goal is going to make you feel great. It's going to make you feel like, yes, you finally did it. I finally made it happen. Whether that's making 15 or 20K or 50K a month or whatever, because right now you're kind of struggling to make a few $1,000s a month. Well, what I like to do is I like to reverse the steps. So instead of waiting until I achieve that objective to feel that experience, I flip it on its head. Because let's be honest, you've already achieved goals that you said would make you happy. And what I mean by this is you're already making some money. You're already booking some sales calls. You, a year ago, are a way different person in a way better situation than you were before, whether it's your character or it's your business or it's your skill set or it's something else. So what you have to know is we're still going to be humans no matter what. So at every single level that we grow to, we're always going to feel some sort of emotions, but our perception is the thing that's going to change. Our perception of the experience. But right now, our expected perception of that experience is we're going to feel a certain way once we achieve these goals, which is partially true. But you can feel that right now through shifting your perception of what's going to create that emotional reaction based off of changing what you value. So you can understand you can become aligned once you create parallels between the present and your future expectation of your perception. And this is done through tapping into your expectation of your perception, because it's not always reality, because as I just identified, at every single level, we're growing and we're changing and we're adapting. So what you have to understand is that you are going to still feel different emotions and your brain chemistry is still going to work fairly the same, meaning that what you're going to have to do is rewire your perception right now to be the sort of person who has already achieved these goals. And that's simply, like I said, by tapping into that expectation of your perception via asking yourself, what desire do you have that is causing you to want that objective, which causes the perception of your emotional reaction once you achieve that objective. And what I mean by what is desire is this status, power, control, freedom. Like imagine right now, there's this deep insecurity that you have. Well, a lot of the time, this thing, or the inverse of it, is what you feel like you're going to feel once you reach that objective. But the interesting thing is that if we always end up returning to baseline and feeling these emotional reactions no matter what, then we're just going to end up feeling the same way once you make that money. And that's what I realized after scaling my business and other partnerships to like $20,000, $30,000 a month closed, and then it dropping back down to a few $1,000s a month a few months later, is that this emotional reaction can be felt right now through aligning yourself with the individual who is making $20,000 to $30,000 a month. Because imagine the individual who is making $20,000 to $30,000 a month. It's much easier to make more at that time because they're already aligned with this higher frequency. But you can do that right now by, instead of focusing on the results or the past, if you just focus on what you do today and aligning your values to right now, because this will make effort not feel forced, rather just aligned to your current state. But if your effort's based on the performance of your business, you're going to be stuck in a constant cycle of it's not enough, inconsistent performance, and even when you do implement quote-unquote the right habits, or you stop doing the bad habits, you're still going to be stuck in a cycle of feeling unaligned to your business and not really reaching your full potential and feeling this resistance when you work, calling yourself lazy, not feeling like you're disciplined enough, when in reality you're just not aligned to the individual who you need to be. It's like driving with the parking brake on. Like I actually accidentally did this a couple of days ago. I accidentally turned the parking brake on and I kept getting this beep in the car and I couldn't go fast enough. I was like, well, what's going on? Oh, the parking brake is on. So if you keep pressing the gas with more content outreach and effort, but this still kind of feels heavy, and texting back clients and hopping on sales calls, like sure, you've gotten results for clients before. However, it's still going to feel heavy as you keep pressing the gas to try to scale. But the problem isn't your effort. The problem isn't the system you're using to try to make more money. It's just the brake, which is misalignment. You've aligned yourself with the wrong value as you've scaled because you expect yourself to have to be the same sort of person that's gotten you to where you're at right now, instead of changing who you are to get to the next level. But once you release that parking brake, and once you release that brake, your identity is going to match your actions. And then once you release that, it's like your identity matching your actions, which is just the truth, to be honest, except we perceive our actions in a different sense. And then we end up identifying not with the actions, but with our expectation of the output of those. But once you do release the brake, you can switch that narrative in your mind subconsciously. And then over a long enough period of time, the same effort starts moving you way further and way faster because you found clarity and peace of mind. The $20,000 a month version of you, he's just driving with the brake off. Now, if you want to be able to make sure that brake isn't inside of your business and that you're able to move in the right direction, hop on sales calls and actually close them with presence and confidence, then click the top link in the description to join my free community. then click the top link in the description to join my free community. It's completely free and it helps online service-based business owners who are struggling with burnout and confusion to easily scale to 20K a month. No BS, I don't have any courses to sell you. Just click the top link in the description and then you can access this community, free training, and talking with me one-on-one so that way we can make sure you're able to implement this advice into your business.